Hey guys, it's time for another episode of Below the Iceberg, the one and only podcast where we talk to real life 2 Comma Club winners. Whether you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, wannabe entrepreneur, or you've been in business for a while, you're sure to pick up lots of actionable advice from these $1 million entrepreneurs. Now, if you don't know what a 2 Comma Club winner is, it's where they've built one funnel in the ClickFunnels software and sold $1 million through just that one funnel, which is an absolutely fantastic achievement. Now, this week's guest, I'm proud to say, is from the UK, and I'm excited to be talking with Mark Knight, who unexpectedly catapulted himself into $1 million business, and now he's achieved 3 2 Comma Club awards. So let's dive in and find out what he did, how he did it, and all the unexpected things that happened on his path to the coveted $1 million funnel. Welcome, Mark, to Below the Iceberg. I want to super congratulate you on getting a 2 Comma Club award, which is amazing. And it's nice that you're from the UK.
It is. Yeah, not many of us.
No, I know. So I believe you have 3 awards. Is that right?
Yeah, 3 so far.
Awesome. So what I like to do with my guests is go do a little bit of investigating and see what I can find on their social profiles. And I couldn't find a right lot, to be honest.
Yeah, that's good.
What channels do you use on social media?
Just Facebook, really. I do a little bit on LinkedIn.
All right, okay.
Yeah, for some reason I can't get an Instagram account.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it seems to be blocked. It just doesn't give me an option.
Oh, that's strange.
Yes, yeah.
So mainly Facebook is what you use. Have you got a Facebook group?
Yes, yeah.
I did find a couple of groups. Have you got a couple of groups? Or just one?
Just one, I think.
And how many people have you got in your group?
About 300, I think.
All right, okay. So it's really interesting because people often think, to get all these awards and do all of this, you've got to have a massive following on social media. So it's nice to see when people don't have a massive social media following. It's really good.
Yeah. I think I got the awards actually for my previous business, which was financial services. I didn't have a group at all for that.
Oh, right. Okay. Awesome. So can you tell our listeners then exactly what it is you do?
Do now or do then?
Well, we'll have both. So what did you win the awards with? What was your business then?
So my business was financial services. I was a financial advisor.
Right. Okay.
In the UK. Yeah, I had a team of maybe 20 staff and 5 or 6 financial advisors.
Right. Okay. And you got the award. How did you get the award then? What were you doing with the funnels to get the award?
Well, years ago, I started creating kind of 1 or 2 page websites that were like funnels, but weren't as good as funnels.
Right. Okay.
And then I got introduced to this chap in America, who my son works for now, and he got me into funnels. I'd always been doing Facebook ads and Google ads. I started with Google ads, moved on to Facebook ads. Now,
right. So how did you get the award? What were you selling? What were you actually selling through the funnel?
It was pension advice for retirement planning.
So that was to consumers?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So were you going for the award at the time, or did it just happen?
To be honest with you, we were just doing our normal stuff, and then all of a sudden I saw, although we were using funnels, I didn't pay too much attention to the whole background inside of the funnels.
Right. Okay.
All the training and education and the awards and seminars and all that kind of thing. So I was unaware of it all until I think I must have saw something from Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels.
Right.
And I started investigating it, and it said if you make over $1 million with a funnel, then you can get an award. Well, I'd been doing that anyway, and so I just sent them what I had, and you have to prove, because when if you so most, I think, I'll say most, a lot of people who use funnels, maybe ClickFunnels, they get their revenue, and they might coach, so they take their revenue in through the funnel, and it's quite easy to see a lead comes in, income comes in, and that's $1 million, so give me my award. But the way that my company worked is all the lead does was provided us with a client, and
Right.
we got paid monies from the client and from insurance companies.
Right. Okay.
So I had to do a massive video and pull all my bank statements through and show this client's that lead, and this is how much money was paid.
So you could prove that the money that they came through ClickFunnels.
Yeah. So the first time I applied, I didn't think they'd want very much information, so I didn't give them very much, and they said you can't have it because you've not provided an audit trail. So, and then I went back to the drawing board and submitted loads of stuff, probably too much stuff in the end, but they came back quite quickly and said, okay, you can have it. The next 2 awards, because I knew what they were expecting, was much easier.
Oh, right. Okay. So when did you get your first one?
So I think I applied for it in November 2019.
Oh, right. Okay.
And we went to the ClickFunnels Funnel Hacking Live in January 2020.
All right. Just
And
before lockdown.
I slipped Russell Brunson a note saying I've been accepted and awarded, and I'm told I'm going to get the award, but it's not official yet. Can you let me go on stage and collect it? But I didn't hear back from him.
So did you get on? So you couldn't
No.
go? Oh, no way!
No. Yeah, it was a shame, because I was sitting there in the audience. I knew that I'd won it because I'd had an email saying I'd won it, but it hadn't gone through all of their other systems yet to allow me to get up on stage, which was a shame.
Get in. Are you going to the one in September?
Yeah, I'm planning to, and I've asked them if I can go on stage and collect my awards this time, and they said yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So you can have a celebration. So have you not had a celebration of having them yet then?
Not officially, no. And I've had them since 2020, so it's a bit of a shame.
So let's do a little bit of a rewind. What I do is like to take people back to their childhood. So what was your childhood like?
So I grew up on a big council estate in the UK.
All right, okay.
Next door to probably one of the roughest council estates in the UK.
All right, whereabouts was that then?
So I lived in Withywood, and Hartcliffe was the one next to Withywood. And if you look up Hartcliffe, there were loads of riots back in the 70s and things.
All right, whereabouts is that?
It's in Bristol, South Bristol.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And so I was kind of oblivious to it because I was in the middle of it. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was all like this, unless you were rich and then you had a big mansion somewhere. So I always remember thinking about when as I got older, thinking about when I got married and had a kid. I wouldn't be able to afford disposable nappies all the time, so I might be able to have them for 1 day a week or something.
Let's rewind a little bit first. So when you were a child, what dreams did you have of when you grew up? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Initially, I wanted to be a policeman.
All right, okay.
Well, I've got a rocky family, so that was never going to be a good idea.
So did you go to college or anything like that?
No, I didn't really like school. I didn't get on too well, so I kind of was very mediocre, and I don't think it was ever really on the books. Although my mum wanted me to go because then she'd keep getting child benefit, but that didn't work. So I kind of didn't do very much for the first couple of years because all that was available was youth training schemes and things.
All right, the
But
YTS, I remember them.
yeah, I did go for an interview for a hairdresser as a
All right.
YTS, but then as soon as my mum found out, she said, "You're not doing that."
So what was your first job?
First job was in a warehouse. Yeah, well, actually, the first job was kind of temping work. So they'd send me somewhere. It could be a warehouse, could be on a building site.
Yeah.
But I didn't last very long doing these things because they were either very boring or very hard work. And I've never really liked hard work.
Okay. So what happened next?
Got my first proper job in a warehouse because the building site was too tough.
Right.
I think this was back in probably 87, something like that.
Right.
And I think I was earning £40 a week, so it was really, really low wages. £40 a week back then was really low wages. Yeah.
How long did you last with that?
2 years, actually. Yeah. So.
All right. Okay. Did you leave? Did you find another job? What happened next?
Yeah, I met my girlfriend, who's now my wife.
All right.
And so I came from a kind of lower working class family.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was kind of more middle class, I think. You're right in saying middle class. And so it was a whole new thing to me. And so all of a sudden, any ideas of grandeur that I might have had, I suddenly felt like I could start putting them into place. So I left there, got a job in a Tesco's supermarket as a general a trainee manager.
All right. Okay.
Then I got a job as a salesperson.
Salesperson doing what was that then?
Selling furniture, office furniture.
All right. So you're the trainee manager, did you become the manager or did you stay as the trainee?
No, what seemed to happen was they took on 10 trainee managers leading up to Christmas to basically do all the work instead of paying overtime and stuff. They just got us in, made us work really long hours and never paid us any extra. And then I got fed up of that after a while.
All right. Okay.
This sales job came up with a company car, so I thought,
sounds good.
that sounds good. And the company car was a sports car, which was even better.
Okay, so what were you out and about then, traveling?
Yeah. I was terrible at that job.
Did they give you sales training?
No.
Oh, right. What did they just say? Off you go.
Yeah, but basically, I think all I really needed to do was find a contact who needed office furniture. So I had to go into office blocks and things and just say, "Are you looking for office furniture?" or that kind of thing. And then I passed that on to the design team.
Oh, right. Okay. So how long did you last with that one?
Probably 6 months.
Oh, right. Okay. And what happened? Did you leave or?
Yeah, because I knew at that point in time it was getting a bit silly. I was just going from job to job and not really getting anywhere. So I thought I need to do something quite drastic. So I went into a careers office and I saw a poster on the wall and it said, "Would you like to live in America for a year? Be able to drive, get pocket money for all your expenses paid, that kind of thing."
Right.
And I basically ticked yes to all of them. And I went up to the counter and said, "I'd like more information about that job, please." And they said, "That's an au pair in America." So actually, I carried on through that. I didn't like the idea of being an au pair, looking after children, but everything else around it seemed quite good. And I thought a year out will give me a chance to get everything together. So that's what I did. I went off to New York for a year.
Oh, did you? So what about your girlfriend?
We just split up, which was another.
Oh, right. Okay.
Another thing, because she'd gone off to uni by this point.
Right. Okay.
And I think she was enjoying all the wonderment of everything new, and my life was pretty much staying the same. And I think it kind of got on top of us a little bit.
Right. Okay.
So we split up. I went into this careers office, saw this opportunity for America, and thought, yeah, then that's good. And whilst I was in America, actually, I was thinking that we would get back together when I came back.
So what was it like? What was it like doing the au pair job?
It was very hard. The children were three adopted Costa Rican boys,
Oh, right. Okay.
and the reason why the parents liked my application was because I'd had Army cadet experience. And I didn't put two and two together at the time. I wish I had. When I got there, I thanked, because the contract is meant to be for a year. So you go in. I went in November. You come back a year later. When I got there, I realised that within that year prior, they'd had three au pairs who couldn't cope.
Oh, whoa.
One of them got sacked because they'd basically held one of the children by the throat.
How old are the children?
The eldest was 11 going on 12, and then 9 and 6. So the 9 and 6-year-olds, they were okay. I could have coped with them, but the oldest child, he was a handful.
Whoa. So how did you cope with that then?
I don't know. I'm amazed I didn't get arrested.
So did you live in the house with them?
Yeah.
So you never got away from them then?
Yeah. Actually, because what seemed to happen is all the au pairs that were around me, and most of them were women, which was another plus for the job. They all seemed to be, the parents would really take the Michael out of them, and make them work a lot longer hours than they should do, and they were put upon. So we were meant to have weekends off, but most of the au pairs I knew, they were still kind of skivvies, I suppose, to the parents. Whereas my parents, as soon as they came home from work, my job stopped.
Oh,
And
right.
so
Okay.
I had all weekends, every evening free, unless they invited me out for a meal with them, or on a trip with them, which of course I accepted, because when the parents were around, I didn't have to do anything, and the kids were fine.
Yeah. So did you enjoy it then out in New York?
Yeah, I enjoyed everything except looking after the kids. When you think about it, I was 20, 12, yeah, 20. I turned 21 in November when I got there, and on our intake, so there were I was surrounded by 200 European girls for 4 days in a hotel in New York. I was living the dream. So it was fantastic. And then I had about 50 au pairs in my network, and there was one bloke, and we became really good friends. But everyone else, female from Europe. Brilliant.
Cool. That's good. So when that ended, what did you do then?
So I came back to the UK. I was quite invigorated, really, because the parents of the children, one was a judge, or became a judge as I was leaving, and the other, the female mother, was a big banker for the tri-state area of New York.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so, so there was me. I started life in kind of working class. I then had a taste of middle class life from my girlfriend's family.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm thrust into this lifestyle where there are no limits. You can do anything you want to do.
What was their house like? Was it an apartment or?
It felt like a normal house. I was in New York, so it was never going to be normal. But in terms of normality, they were a normal family with a normal house. They didn't seem to have all the trappings of wealth. I'm not sure what they did with their money, because they must have made a lot of money.
So you came back to the UK. What was your plan? Did you have a plan?
Yeah, I probably might. It's difficult to remember now, but I think I would have thought I was going to just have a month or two where I didn't do anything. But when I came back to the UK, it was in the middle of recession. So my plan, actually, of not doing anything for a couple of months lasted for a lot longer. Just couldn't get work. Had no ideas of becoming self-employed or doing anything like that, because it was never anything that I'd even contemplated. And so to break the cycle of not working, because once you had a job, it was easy to get another job.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a job, trying to get a job seemed to be really tough. So I was getting maybe £20 a week unemployment benefit, and I took a trainee get back to work type job for £10 a week extra.
Okay. Where were you living then?
I was living with my sister in Withywood.
All right.
Yeah.
So
that was fine.
So what was the job then? What was that doing?
It was as a trainee mechanic.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'd always fancied it. In fact, my youth, when you're in school, you take 2 weeks off to go and do a job. Well,
Yeah.
that was in a garage as well. So I knew I enjoyed it. But of course, I'm a bit of a weakling when it comes to being cold. And the garage was just open. So I think I joined it probably in like June.
Right.
And then it started getting colder, or maybe a bit later, might have been July or August or something. Then it started getting colder, and then I didn't like it anymore.
So what do you leave in the winter?
Yeah. And I joined actually because when I came back, I kept seeing jobs in the newspapers for financial advisors, but I knew, rightly or wrongly, that I wouldn't be able to get it. I can't remember whether I applied or not, but when I was in that garage, I did apply.
All right.
Got through the interview and then got the job. What I know now is that they're basically they would take on anybody really who could talk and walk and breathe, just to sell to their family and friends, knowing that these people aren't going to last very long before they leave and get another job. But at the time, I didn't know that. Although we were taken on with like 30 people, and by the end of year one, and I'd lasted a year, so by that point, that was pretty good going for me. I was the only man standing in this office in the centre of Bristol for 30 people.
Right.
So I realised at that point, actually, that I really enjoyed doing what I do. And I don't think I realised at the time, but I found that my niche within financial services for that year was sitting on buses and getting the bus drivers as clients.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's novel.
So that's why I lasted. I don't think I would have lasted if I hadn't found something that I could grab hold of and then just keep running with. And that's what I did.
So what, did you just talk to the bus driver when they were driving?
Yeah, well, if we backtrack, when I was a furniture salesman,
Yeah.
I knew I had to get out of that job because the pressure was mounting. I wasn't really selling anything,
right,
and I didn't want to get fired. So, and I knew, by the end of it, I knew within 1 month I was going to New York. So I needed a job. I think it was for 5 or 6 weeks. So I became a bus driver.
Oh, right. Okay. You missed that one out.
Yeah, not one of my proudest moments. That was probably one of my worst jobs. It's just soul destroying, so boring. Yeah, you drive there and you come back and you drive there. It was bad. I tried to block it from my mind, but that experience allowed me to talk to bus drivers as though I knew what I was doing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what were you selling? What were you selling the bus drivers?
Pensions.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, because they all had them, but they didn't know anything about them. So I just said, "Oh, let me have a look what you've got," and then Bob's your uncle. So that was my first niche, selling to bus drivers pensions.
So you got on
I realised actually, pardon?
You got on a lot of buses.
Got on a lot of buses, yeah. And got to know everybody. They're really nice people as well. And yeah, I realized then that I enjoyed financial advice and I was good at getting clients.
So did you have to do any proper training for that though?
Yeah. So for the first 2 weeks, I think when I started, we really had to hit the books. It was quite intense, which wouldn't have been great had they not helped us with the computer-based training. So, I think we had 4 options, and if I was going to go for option A and that was the wrong one, they'd say, no, are you sure? So when I first started, I really didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And then I think because everybody who was taking the test passed, the organization that were in control of the group that I joined looked at their stats and thought there was something up. So they took us all, they provided coaches, took us all off site and put us in a classroom under exam conditions.
Oh, right.
Well, luckily by that point I'd learned and understood a bit
You
more
knew what
about
you were
what
doing
was going
then.
on. Yeah. So some of us didn't pass, but I passed. I was fine. Yeah.
So what happened then? So how long did you work for them?
So that was about a year, I think. Then I got a job in a building society. And I was hoping to be a financial advisor, but because my plan was to work in banks and building societies, so I needed to get a foot in the door. So,
Right.
but I couldn't find any jobs for financial advisors, so I got a job as a cashier.
Right.
And I was absolutely terrible at it. So bad.
How long did that last?
Well, they what they did is because there were a few jobs within a branch, and one of them, so you could help on the mortgage stuff, you could do the arrears stuff, you could do the cashiering. I think it was probably something else as well. I can't remember, but I mean, it was clear that my cashiering days were numbered because every night we would be out of balance with the cash, and we'd be staying behind for an hour trying to find my mistake. So they weren't happy. I thought they were going to sack me at one point, but luckily they put me in charge of the arrears.
Oh, right.
And I excelled at it. I was in our area, I was the best at it. And I think I got headhunted then as part of the arrears. But before that happened, a training scheme came up as what they called a customer service advisor, which was another title for their for their financial advisors. So I joined that as well. And that was like a foot in the door then. And then a job came up as a customer service advisor, proper job, and I got that. I think that was
in the same bank.
Yeah. That was probably 1994, 93, 94.
Oh, right. Okay. So how long
Probably
did you stay
94.
with that bank?
Pardon?
How long did you stay with that bank for then?
7 years.
Oh, right. Okay. So that's your longest job.
Yeah.
So then,
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So what happened at the end of 7 years?
I saved up enough money, and because towards the end of it, I started writing wills for people.
Oh, right. Okay.
The bank didn't offer wills, and so I wasn't doing anything that the bank weren't worried about. I was worried about. So I was writing wills. So then I decided I'm going to set up my own will writing company.
All right. How did you know how to write wills then?
Actually, they're pretty simple. It's just some software.
Oh,
It's
right.
not very
Okay.
complicated stuff.
You're just doing that on the side?
Yeah. And I wasn't doing many, but I had this idea that what I would do is I would write wills for other financial advisor firms out there.
Oh, right.
So
Okay.
they would refer their clients to me. I'd give them some money for the referral, and then I'd charge the client as well.
So did something happen that made you decide to quit the bank and do that full time? What was the turning point?
I think I was just getting to the point where I needed a change.
Right.
Yeah, 7 years was a long time for me.
Yeah.
Well, it was quite good. When I was in that bank, I was always one of the top advisors there. So that wasn't an issue, but it just it felt like the right time to make a change.
Right.
And because I was doing these wills, I felt like there would be an opening to do something. It felt like a really good idea.
How did you get the financial advisors how did you get hold of the financial advisors to find your customers?
Well, I had a couple of financial advisors who used to come in and talk to me because they sometimes introduce mortgages to the firm.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so I asked them, and they seemed, whilst I was working in the bank, they seemed to say yes, we could do that, but it didn't actually work out that way in the end, which was a shame.
So how did the will company go then?
I think I had about 20 grand saved. And so first thing I did was I put an advert on the council's employee payslips to say that I'd write a will for them.
All right. Okay.
And they'll get a discount because they work for the council. So I got enough of those wills to pay the mortgage without any problem. And I was hoping to get referrals from that, but that didn't pan out. I didn't really know what I was doing in terms of a company.
Right.
Because the plan that I wanted, going to financial advisors, didn't work out, and it didn't work out quite quickly. And then I thought, well, so my son is not newborn, but really young. So I just thought I'll just take 6 months off and then go find another job.
Okay.
So I spent 6 months writing the wills for the council employees.
Right.
That covered the mortgage. I ate into some of my savings a little bit. And then after 6 months, I decided to get another job.
Okay. So what job did you get then?
I went to work for another bank, HSBC Bank.
All right.
Yeah. And I knew it wouldn't be an issue because when I was working in the Woolwich, I was one of the star financial advisors there. So I knew it wouldn't be a problem at all.
Did you go as a financial advisor?
Yeah.
How long did that last?
Which one? The
HSBC.
HSBC. 2 years, I think.
Okay.
I was headhunted by Lloyds Bank.
All right. Okay.
And the pay structure felt much better. It turned out to be much better, but it seemed too good to turn down.
Okay.
So I did that.
So then you were at Lloyds. How long did you stay at Lloyds?
About 2 years.
Okay. And then what was the next? What was the next?
Well, I think with 2 months before I left Lloyds, I won this Star Performer weekend in Dublin.
All right.
And when I got there, I met these two lads who were financial advisors, who were also star performers, because we were all star performers on that weekend.
Right.
And they said they shouldn't have been given that trip because on the day we get back is actually the day that their notice expires and they're out of the bank completely. So they were on notice already at that point. Okay. Which is strange because when you work in a bank as a financial advisor, when you hand your notice in, they normally stick you on garden leave and send you home so that you don't have any clients. So, but all commissions that you were due and all bonuses and everything, including these trips, they stripped them away too. But somehow they slipped through the net. They were on this trip. And I said to them, what are you doing? And then they explained how they're setting up their company, how they have a large list of clients that were bank clients that they're going to take as a financial advisor, as they're in their own firm.
All right.
They said something like within the first month they were going to make 100 grand off these clients.
Okay.
I thought, oh, that's interesting. But then they told me an interesting thing, which was, so Lloyds Bank owned a life insurance company called Scottish Widows.
All right, yeah.
So if I arranged a life policy for you within the bank, it would be with Scottish Widows. They said to me, as an independent advisor, they can get the same policy with the same company, Scottish Widows, for the same clients, about 30% cheaper. And I didn't believe it, because when we were in the bank, they always told us that premiums are about the same wherever you are. So there's no point in ever becoming an independent financial advisor, because there's no benefit to anybody. So the first thing I did when I got back is I opened up my laptop and I did a quote for me, for, I can't remember all the terms and everything, but then I texted them and said, can you get me a quote based on this information with this company?
All right.
And they came back and it was 30% cheaper.
All right.
And I said to my wife, I can't stay in Lloyd's Bank knowing this. I can't do it. So I went into work the next day and I handed my notice in.
Oh, right, that quick.
Yeah, but I told them that I was taking a break for maybe a year or something like that. I wasn't going to work again. So they didn't put me on garden leave. They allowed me to stay there and nab lots of clients. So by the end of it, yeah, I had boxes full of clients that were willing to come with me. And a few did, but very quickly into opening up my company, I found the power of Google Ads,
Right, okay.
and websites and things.
So did you do Google Ads yourself?
Yeah.
And where were you sending them to? Just to your website?
Yeah, because when I left the bank, I created this website that was really anti-bank, viciously anti-bank, because of what I saw the bank was doing with this life insurance. And I just thought by having that would be enough, but nobody came to it, didn't do anything. So I realized quite quickly I need to do something. So I basically down-tooled for maybe 2 or 3 months, learned everything I could do about Google Ads and about what type of website is the best type of site, which is one that doesn't have all the about me pages and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember whether funnels was a word back then, but
it was squeeze pages, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. So it was an early squeeze page / funnel / pretend MK mockup.
So you started getting clients through Google Ads, and did you say you run Facebook ads as well?
I didn't run them for about 2 or 3 years. It wasn't until I think I had a member of staff who was doing a business degree, and she said, because I was going out on the road seeing lots of clients as well, so she said, why don't you take on more financial advisors, and then you'll make more money. I thought, well, that sounds like a good idea. Let's see if I can do it. So I got somebody in to do my job, which meant that completely freed up my time. I was able to then get more leads. And I just tried Facebook ads. And what happened was the cost for ads went down dramatically, but the amount of ads increased dramatically. So after a couple of months, I turned off Google Ads, and it was all just Facebook ads.
Oh, right, okay. So when did you discover ClickFunnels then? So can you remember when?
Yeah, it was about so my business isn't officially closed yet. It's it actually, within a couple of months it should be closed, because the accountant's finalizing everything, but we stopped trading properly last July.
Right, okay.
About a year before that, we started the process of selling off bit by bit.
Okay, so
it's about 7 years ago, I think we started with ClickFunnels. Maybe not that long ago. Maybe 5 years ago, something like that.
How did you find ClickFunnels?
Well, it was this chap in America I'd come across, a chap called Billy Wilson, and I'd become aware of him because what he did was he left college, American University, and basically stuck his fingers up at the whole idea behind the university and made lots of money with social advertising and stuff.
Right, okay.
And I was aware of that story was in the back of my mind because I'd done a lot of research on all of this stuff, and he'd come up. And then somehow, I can't quite remember now, but I might have even come across an ad of his, or something happened, and I got to talk to him, and he looked at my website then, and the website that I created was a dark website. It was like a black page.
Right.
It looked absolutely terrible. I paid somebody a few years before. I paid this firm about £3,000 to create a funnel type website with a quiz questionnaire on it.
All right.
And that was going okay, but then it wasn't mobile friendly.
Right. Okay.
So as my leads were dropping, I did some analytics or something, and I realized that 90% of the people looking at my page were on mobile.
Right.
Which completely blew me away. And I thought, well, I need to do something about this. So I made my first WordPress site based on that, but it looked terrible. It really was the ugliest site you could ever think of. And everybody in my office said, that's never going to work. It's not going to work at all. And I turned it on, and the leads jumped through the roof. This amazed everybody because it really was. It was an appalling looking website. It really was bad, but it just had a little survey on there, a little quiz, and there were two options. People would click away, or they'd click through and become a lead.
Right. Okay. So
which is what funnel is, yeah. So it worked absolutely fine. But then when Billy saw it, and Billy saw it, and Billy saw what I was making and doing on the back of it, and he saw my ads as well, because I was doing my own Facebook ads, and he couldn't understand what was going on. It just didn't make any sense to him. Because the ads weren't great, the website wasn't great, but I was getting all this business in. But then Billy helped me change everything around. That's when he came up with ClickFunnels.
Right. Okay. So he introduced you to ClickFunnels.
Yeah. Do you use ClickFunnels?
Yeah.
Yeah. So ClickFunnels is a really simple piece of software to use once you've been using it a little bit. But he gave me access to it, and I just pressed one button on it because I wanted something to change, and it completely distorted the whole look of the site. And I was really panicking because I thought that he's just given me access, and I've just done one thing, and it's just messed it all up. God knows what. So I told him, and within 10 seconds, he'd corrected it. At that point, I realized that this is such a powerful tool.
So how long? So you had your financial business running for how long then?
16 years.
Oh, right. Okay. And so you started using ClickFunnels then for your leads. Were you still running your own Facebook ads then, or did you have somebody else doing them for you?
No, I let Billy do it because it was, even with his cost then, it became a lot cheaper to do.
Oh, right. Okay. So why did you close it down? Why have you closed it down? What have you got? What are you doing now?
So I closed it down because I came. So I had a business coach in the last 5 years, and we worked out that if I made enough money from the sale of it, I could invest that into property and other investments, and actually I'd generate more income than I was taking out of the company whilst I was running the company.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because so the company made so much money. I didn't take all of it out. I left a lot of it in as retained profits.
Yeah.
And so we worked out that I could double my income by selling the company, which is crazy. It never occurred to me that might happen, and until I sat down with him, it was just weird. So I started interviewing some people who wanted to buy the firm, and then I had three things I needed. One was I wanted to try and retain an income. 2, I needed a lump sum, and 3, I needed my staff looked after.
Right.
To get all 3 was quite difficult because.
So how many staff have you got?
By that point, I think I had about 10.
All right, okay.
And I didn't need them all looked after. 'Cause two of them were my family, and two of them were really close to me as financial advisors. So I wanted 4 of them taken care of.
Okay, so you found somebody that ticked all 3
Eventually,
boxes.
yeah, I found this firm that would take half the clients for 2 or 3 times more than I could sell all of the clients to a different firm, which was
All right.
crazy.
Okay.
Then I sold the other half of the clients to the financial advisors who were working for me
Oh, right, okay.
on an ongoing basis. So I got my lump sum, I got my income, and I got them looked after.
Oh, that was good. Good deal then.
Was, yeah.
So what was the type of funnel that you were using to get your 2 Comma Club awards with?
The first funnel was, it was a simple funnel. It just had a survey on it. And so people would take the kind of quiz, and at the end of it, it would take them to a page that either said, yes, it's something that we can help you with, or no. And then if it was a yes, they'd fill out their details, and then it would come through as a lead. So it was really good, clever, because I didn't end up with any leads that I couldn't help.
Right, okay. Did you
So
build that yourself?
No, I built my WordPress site was the way that that worked like that. But then Billy took that concept and put it in ClickFunnels.
Oh, right, okay. So what do you think's been your biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome on your journey?
Biggest hurdle that I've had to overcome. Oh, on my journey from birth, or just in ClickFunnels? Once I started my financial services company,
yeah,
everything just seemed to fit. I found my niche. I got my websites designed correctly. The Facebook ads, the Google ads, everything seemed to work. So there weren't really many stumbling blocks along the way once everything was set up.
all right, okay.
Getting to that point,
yeah,
I think, until the family sat me down. The family in America sat me down and said, because I was telling them the reason why I came out here is because I needed this break to work out what I was going to do. And they basically said, you can do anything you want to do. No one had ever said that to me before, and I'm not even sure I've ever heard anybody say that. And they said it to me, and they meant it. And I thought, actually, yeah, you're right. So he was a lawyer at that point. She was a banker.
yeah.
And I knew, and I liked the idea of becoming a lawyer, but I also knew that I couldn't survive 7 odd years studying. So I think that's why I wanted to get into banking, because it was either going to be his job or her job.
Right, okay.
And so I think when I came back from America, my plan was to eventually get into the banking world. But now it's all finished. I haven't actually given financial advice to people for maybe 4 or 5 years, because I have financial advisors who did that for me.
Right, okay.
I just sat back and worked on the business. So that's good.
What's your plan now then? What are you concentrating on?
The plan now is I'm doing 2 things. So initially it was to create a coaching program for other financial advisors to learn all the things that I've managed to do so that they can get more clients and grow and scale their firms.
Okay.
And just as I was finishing the scripts and everything around funnels and about how everything attaches in, all the autoresponders, the calendars, the text messaging and all that kind of thing, I thought, actually, I might as well just build some software that does all that as well. So I'm creating software that has funnels, has websites, has the text messaging ability, has the calendar, does everything in-house rather than having to go elsewhere and try and fit everything together.
All right, okay. So you're building that out?
Yeah. I'm not too far away from doing that. So what I'm doing now is just because all the scripts and everything I'd written for the program, was involving things like ClickFunnels, that type
Right.
of thing. So now I'm just rewriting everything to kind of link in with the software that I'm creating.
All right. Okay. And how are you launching that then?
So as soon as I've finished all the recording, it's going to be Facebook ads. There's also a piece of software. It's called Up Viral.
All right.
And I've had it for years. I've never really used it, but I've just come across I've just come across this firm that uses it for as a referral generating machine. And so if I can get it right, then I'm hoping that my group of 300 can build my group much bigger, much faster than even Facebook advertising.
Right. Okay. So you're planning on growing the group and then selling it to the group.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's your focus. So are you doing it? What about the property? Are you doing that as well? Is that?
Yeah, I'm at the moment I'm trying to sell up the property because I want to focus at least for a while on doing this, and I've noticed before, if properties in the background, it's taking away from everything else that I want to focus on.
Right. Okay. So are you planning on a 2 comma club then with the new one, with the new business?
Gotta be honest with you, I've fallen into a trap. When I owned my company and I was working, I was in the same trap. I was very comfortable, so I didn't take out. I didn't, in terms of income, I didn't take all the income out of the company that I needed. I had more than enough,
Right.
and I'm still at that stage now. So, whereas if I wasn't in that, if I wasn't in that position, this would have all been done months ago. So, I'm just kind of taking my time.
Right.
Really.
Okay.
Talking to lovely people like you.
Right. I have one last question for you. If you're going to be an animal for 24 hours, what would you be and why?
Oh, that is a good question. I'd probably be a lion.
Lion.
A male lion, yeah. So I've been on safari a couple of times and I've seen the lions and the way that they pounce and just roam around. I like the idea of that.
Awesome. Fantastic. So thanks for chatting with me today and taking time out of your day.
That's okay. It's nice to talk to you.
If anybody's interested, what's the name of your group? If anybody's a financial advisor that happens to be listening that wants to come and find you, what's it called?
The Regulated Tribe.
The Regulated Tribe on Facebook. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice to talk.
Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to the podcast on your podcast software. It really helps us rank the podcast and get more listeners. And if you're over on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell. Every Friday, 8 a.m. GMT, we release a brand new episode. And until then, have a good one.